Another day in the woods. Gonna do an overnight camping trip here, and it is bloody cold. I think it's about 1 or 2 degrees at the moment, and it's due to get down to about -3 tonight. Brrr. But should be a bit of fun. I'm in my local woods here. It's within 5 kilometers of my home because we're on another lockdown. COVID lockdown number 3 for Ireland. So I'm in my local woods. What better way to be spending an evening than in -3 temperatures in a forest. Anyway, check back later. Bye bye. So this is the spot. This is what we're going to call home for the next 24 hours or so. Got my camping spot. I'm going to put my tent here in this large area here, and I've already kind of scouted out over here. Somebody has had a fire here before, so I'm going to put a fire over here somewhere. But this is it. This is the camping spot. I'm in my local woods. It's called Ballyannan Woods, just outside the town of Midleton. It's January. We're in our 3rd lockdown here in Ireland. This is within 5k of my home. It's about 2 kilometers from my home. So with the lockdown, and with the stress and the cabin fever getting to everybody, I thought it'd be a nice idea to get out in the woods. You know, look after our mental health a bit and do something that I like doing as a hobby. I've been checking out the weather last few days, and tonight's going to be quite cold. Going to get down to about -3. That's not really my concern, the -3. It's windy. The wind has died down now that I've started recording, which is cool, but the wind chill as I was walking in, that's the real kicker, you know. The cold you can get over, but when the wind is really I'm just watching a robin dance around the place here. Lovely little robin now. So yeah, it's just once the wind stays down, the cold will be grand, like. So my plan excuse me, my plan is to go collect wood. That's the priority now. Collect wood. I'm going to set up a fire here, so I'm going to build a fire reflector here. I'm going to set up my tent over here. There's that robin there. Don't know if you can see him. Oh, he's gone now again. Here he is. Hello. Hey, little fella. He's going to be there now for the night, maybe, and maybe in the morning. So I'm going to set up my tent here. Set it up there. Fire will be over here, away from the tent a bit. And I have a stove for the tent, so should be nice and warm. That's it. Oh, it's getting windy. It's starting to get windy. Right, one final look at this bad boy. It's a 1 Tigris iron wall, and it's a hot tent. It takes a bit of adjusting, I have to say, but it's a nice tent. I have to figure out how to fix this gap here. On some parts of it there's a big gap between the floor and there, and then on other sides it's fairly flush to the ground. So it's a hot tent, as I said. Here, over here we've the stove jack. That's been used a couple of times. Again, back garden. Inside we've got the good bit of space in here. There's a bedroom that clicks in there, and then I'll get the whole bedroom set up. Stove will go there. A lot of room in there. For now I'm just going to throw my backpack and the rest of the tent bits in there, zip it up, and I'm going to go collect wood, because I think I've about an hour and a half of sunlight left, judging by the way that sun is going and the time of the day. I think about an hour and a half of sun. So let me go sort that. Gotta get a lot of firewood for tonight, so I'm gonna just go non-stop now for an hour and a half getting wood, and then we get a fire set up, cook a bit of dinner and chill. Yep. Cold one. There's something very satisfying about this. I just wanted to quickly show this thing. It's my saw that I use. Yep, that happens every time. So it's a saw in a tube. There's 2 blades come with it. I'll pop the name of it in the description, because I don't remember what the name of it is offhand. But I do remember that it was a saw that definitely didn't break the bank at the time, you know. And the blade in this saw just chews through wood like nobody's business. And every time you're putting it together, you make a mistake. So this guy goes here. That happens every time. That happens every time. But I think it's just a cool gadget. That's it, just to tighten it up. And it's a beast. It really is a beast of a saw. It's rigid. As I said, the blade on it is crazy, man. It just chews through wood. So that's it. I'll pop the name. I'll pop a link below for where I bought it, because I just can't think of the name. But I remember it was reasonably priced. And as I always say, calling something reasonably priced is relative to what you can afford. So to somebody else this will be really cheap, to someone else it might be really expensive, but to me at the time it was reasonable, somewhere in the middle. So the number one job I have to do is collect wood. I can see a tree here already. Look at that silver birch tree. You can use the bark of that to light fires, and it looks like it's been down a while. And I can see something at the back there. Look at that. So what you want is dead wood. The reason you want dead wood is because, first of all, don't be an AH and start chopping down perfectly healthy trees. And the second thing is, live trees won't burn. Live trees will not burn because they're full of moisture. Where did that tree go? Here it is. That looks dead to me. Sure, it's not. It's not dead. Alright, the search goes on. I thought it was dead because it was leaning. It looked like it was leaning up against that other tree. Right, while I'm walking about the place here, I come across this bad boy. So this will be a nice help to me back at the camp. Oh, it's not too heavy. That's cool. That's cool. That'll serve a few purposes now for me, so it will. Right. Looking for the dead wood. Now there's lots of small bits here, which I can use for kindling and for starting my fire. But I need to get some serious chunks, like, oh, hang on now. Hello. Hello. That's pretty dead. That is as dead as... So this is what I'm talking about. I've got a piece here leaning up against that healthy tree. And it's not the bestest, but... Alright, so that's the start of the wood collecting. That's a big dead limb that fell off. Maybe fell off this big tree here. That's a limb that maybe fell off that in a storm. So that's going to be the start of the wood collecting. So here's the setup. Sun's gone down. Starting to get cold now again. So I've chopped up a load of wood. Same story. I've got all that ready to go in the fire. I've got my seat secured with these pins here. These old pins here just to hold it, make it a bit more comfortable. All ready to rock and roll really. I'm going to chop up a little bit more wood. Tent is looking good there. So I'm getting hungry now after chopping all that, burning lots of calories. Going to get ready now to settle in for the evening. Just going to have one little look out over here. Look at there. So where I am is a place called Ballyannan Woods. And it's outside the town of Midleton. And the Youll river passes through Midleton. And it just starts heading out to the sea that way. That's the estuary for the Youll. Heads out there into Cork Harbour. Our whole country is covered in snow at the moment, but as I just said there, we're so near the coast. We have these air currents that keep the snow away. We're down the very south of Ireland, down in Cork, so that's why we've no snow here. The rest of the country has snow, but you wouldn't know. It's supposed to get down to -3 tonight. So we might wake up in the morning to a white tent. Better bring some wood into the tent in case that happens, shouldn't I? I'll have some in there with the stove anyway. Right. Look at that. Look at that thing blazing. Wow. It's so warm. It's so warm. It's great. So it's like a bit of a cheesy one now, but there was a bit of a fucking struggle to get that thing going. Like it took, I've lit loads of fires over the years in woods and camping and all sorts, like, but sometimes the payoff is the endurance in having to deal with a bit of shite to get a reward, you know. It's like a delayed gratification kind of a thing, and that's what this is now, you know. So to make a connection between the COVID thing, like I'm on a lockdown. I'm within 5k of my home, so I'm not breaking any rules. Technically, should probably be in my home, but I'm far more than 2 meters away from any other person, so I'm happy that I'm complying here. But like, just a bit of persevere with a bit of shite. Like, I had to try get this thing going, and you come out the other side of it with a blazing hot fire, or in the COVID's case, an eradication of a virus, you know. But this is amazing. This is like, when you talk about doing something for positive mental health, or just enjoying a bit of time out in the wild. Collected every stick that's in that fire. Took a lot of time to build that reflector, set up my seat. And I haven't even cooked my dinner yet. I'm really enjoying this camp out. I don't know how it's going to be anywhere near cold temperatures, because I am just on fire. Really enjoying it. Look at that, man. Didn't work out today. Well, one thing I'd say about this one Tigris tent is it's cramped in the living space, but then that's not why you buy it, is it? There's a large sleeping area. Look at that. There's a large sleeping area. So for expediency, I'm not going to waste any time faffing about with flint and what you call it. It's just going straight to the. I have this little tub that I have in. It is the Vaseline and cotton wool, which is my favourite. Right, that's that lighting. Whoops. I don't think I'm nailing it. I don't think I'm nailing the light of the stove, am I? Maybe if I concentrated on lighting it and not videoing me lighting it, I do a better job. I think it's okay. Here we go. Now we'll be getting going. Alright, so a bit of smoke in the tent. Bit of smoke in the tent. I'm gonna close that up. I'd imagine that's well, there you go, look at that. See, that's the draw action then. As soon as I closed up the thing, it had to draw the oxygen in through the holes here. And then it's like, oh my god, that thing just gets going, doesn't it? I have a controller here on the, oh jeez, better take the light on top of the stove. Unless you want to have melted light for dinner, I would recommend taking that off. But that was kind of impressive there, the way I had the door open, the tent was starting to get a bit smoky, and as soon as I closed it up, you get the draw of the, so like, let me just show this now. Not as dramatic as I thought it would be, you know, but it is definitely dying down. And then you open it up and it just blasts on. Wow, that's cool. I'm going to keep adding stuff to this, so and now that there's now that the flue is kind of activated, there's no more smoke coming into the tent, so it's all going up the flue now. I'm going to keep throwing stuff in here. This is going to be magic. This is going to be mighty. Right, the smoke coming back into the tent now, so I'm going to close this up again, and I guarantee that will blaze up. That is cool. That is cool. Oh, it's so nice now in the tent. It's nearly time to take off the boots. I'd nearly take off my socks and strip off, because this is one of the best things. I've trepidations about the trepidations and reservations about having a stove inside in a tent, a small tent like this. Anyway, but the heat, oh my god, it's so cozy. Like they're saying it's -3 outside. I checked the app there again, the YRNO app, which I think is pretty accurate for weather, and they said it's -3 where I am. But oh my god, it might as well be the Bahamas. It might as well be the Caribbean, lads, because it is so hot inside this tent. Now if you turn that down, it kind of dies out a bit. I'm new to this stove thing, like. But then it blazes up, look at that. Wow. It is so hot in here. It is so warm. And it's going to get warmer, because when I tested it out in the back garden, it's when the coals die down, when the flame goes away, then it really gets hot. So tonight's dinner is a homemade, whoa, where's my pot? Where's my pot? Oh, I got it. Couldn't find my pot there, had a little bit of panic. Homemade chili con carne, which I took in my head. I took it out of the freezer yesterday and I allowed it defrost in the fridge for 24 hours. And then today, when I was coming out camping, I discovered that I didn't take it out of the freezer at all. So it's still frozen chili con carne. It's as sparkly as the morning flushed. Jesus Christ, that's frozen solid. That's going to take a while to cook, isn't it? But it's already cooked. Just has to, like, I'm trying to be positive about it. So what I have is that's homemade chili con carne, and it is, if I do say so myself, it is really, really tasty. It's my own homemade recipe, and I've got boil in the bag rice. So this is going to take some time. First of all, oh, look at the dirt of them hands. The first reason it's going to take time is because this bad boy is still heating up. Whoa. Oh yeah, it's getting hot now. So I've got to heat the water, heat the rice. Rice will take about 10 minutes to cook, but how long is that going to take to defrost? Right, so my rice. There's the rice on there. And I'm going to have to put water in now. Wow, that's creme de la creme, isn't it? Whoa, bit of special effects. Turn this place into a sauna. My rice is cooking here. Let me just check it. I'm seeing a little bit of steam coming out there now. A little bit of steam, so it's definitely heating up. Alright, check back in a while. So I've got the rice is blipping away there, and I got that's going ready in no time. I've got the chili Jim carne taking the shape of the pot that it was in. I have to give that a stir there now pretty soon, because I think it's going to burn on one end. This is still the MVP. It's so warm in here I had to disrobe slightly. So I just said I'd take the time to show the setup for the bedroom. There's the room is substantially large, which is cool. I'm going to use my other hand. See, that's a bit silly. Okay, next we have is the picnic blanket, which has a foil thing on the inside. So there you can see the foil, which gives it a bit of an insulating property. Not amazing or anything. On top of that, I have a TRRS self-inflating mattress. The TRRS mattress is it is amazing. Like it's brilliant. Like it's. Wait a second, there's all sorts going on here. Look at that. Look at that bubbling away up there. And this bad boy giving it loads. I'm gonna have to give this chili Jim carne a stir. It's gonna, as I said, it's gonna burn. So quickly. Got the TRRS here, and then on top of the TRRS I have a reflective, really thin mat, very, very thin. You might have seen it on the walk in there on the back of my backpack. Very thin mat, and then I have this winter sleeping bag, and just in case I have a quilt as well. I have a quilt wrapped up here in this yoke, which is a super, super warm quilt. So I'll be fine. Like, there's going to be no I'm definitely not going to freeze anyway, especially with the, I just didn't know how it would work out with the stove. I didn't know if I'd be able to get it working, get it going, get a fire going. So I thought I'd have to wrap up and all this stuff. Also didn't know if when the stove goes out, how does that work? Will I have to rely on this quilt to keep me warm, even though I have a sleeping bag, even though I've all the insulating mattresses and the whole thing? So look, I've gone overkill for my first trip in the winter. I plan on doing another one in January, another one in February, another one in March. Hopefully do one a month, maybe a hill walking trip a month, depending on COVID restrictions, of course. Listen to the bubble out of all this. So I got this light really on the edge. It's just balancing here, and it's just a little bit warm. So if you were drying socks or drying anything like that, it'll be cool. And the light is just heating up now actually, so I'm going to move that. Right, my chilli is ready, even though it went from frozen to being heated up. My goodness, that stove did the trick. It's my homemade chilli recipe, and if I do say it, I make a mean chilli. Something I didn't bring is so I'm eating the chilli out of a pot, out of 2 pots. Pot number 1 has the rice. I didn't bring a plate or a bowl. My God. Like I was saying earlier about the fire. There's a sense of gratification you get from eating the most basic of things when you're camping. And when you're wild camping, when you have to rough it a bit, there's a real sense of like... I was quite hungry there now because I hadn't eaten since my lunch. Having to collect all that firewood, chop it all up. A couple of frustrations with making the fire. Then you're really appreciative of even just the most normal stuff. I could eat this food at home any day of the week. But it's just, you feel so much more appreciative of it when you've had to invest in it a bit more, you know. Good morning. Whoa. Woo. Go Steelers. Morning time. I had a good night. Got very cold. It got very cold, but wow, this sleeping bag is crazy warm. Well, it's my first winter camp, and the difficulty I had is in a mummy sleeping bag you can't spread out. And to get comfortable, you know, you like to stick an arm or a leg out, but every time I did that it was risking frostbite, so I had to pull my limbs back into the mummy sleeping bag and stay to the shape of that. When I did, I was really warm and toasty. But you know, everybody has their own way of sleeping, and I like to spread out a bit, and it just led to a little bit of an uncomfortable night, but by no means did I have a bad night. It's a good night's sleep. Good night's sleep. Time to have a cup of tea. Bit of a mess over there. I have to tidy my bedroom. But in here there's loads of room. Loads and loads of room. Very good. I've always loved this part of camping, you know, whether with a group, and often I'm the first one up for some reason, but just going off on your own and having a cup of tea. Obviously with this trip I'm just on my own, but a cup of tea in the morning when it's early and just a bit of headspace. Love it. Oh, it is cold morning. So I just got out here to side off. Good night's sleep. I have a cup of tea there. My first winter camp. A lot learned. What would I say about the tent? It's a bit small really when you get down to it. My stove is very big for that tent maybe. Let me just try to adjust something here now. It's just this handle thing that I'm holding the camera with. So what would I say about the tent? A lovely tent. Space wise, when you don't have a stove in it, plenty of room in the bedroom, plenty of room outside area to store your gear or to just lie around and chill out. But once you put that stove in there, it's a really big stove, I know that. Maybe a smaller stove might do the trick. But you know what? I didn't really even need the stove, because when you've got the really warm sleeping bag and the rest of the couple of layers of clothes and stuff, that's what you're relying on to keep you warm all night, not the stove. The stove is lovely. It's real heartening and real lovely thing to have in the tent with you. The idea of it is amazing. I look forward to using it again in the future, but it's a real cozy thing to have at your disposal when you're camping. So I will use again, but obviously because I bought them. So I just woke up, so I'm going to have my cup of tea, relax, and then pack away everything and head home. All right.